Welcome. In this video, we're going to talk about 9 reasons why women can be hormonally imbalanced. Let me first introduce myself. If you're new here, my name is Megan Warren. I am a holistic practitioner. And I did this post on Instagram sometime last year, and it was received really, really well. And I thought, you know what? I want to talk about this on this YouTube channel because I can elaborate more. With Instagram, you're only allowed, let's just say you're restricted to a certain amount of words you can use and in certain lengths of time. And so I thought, you know what? This could be very helpful for people if I can share this on YouTube and also elaborate more with each of these 9 reasons why you could be dealing with some type of hormone imbalance. Okay, so let's first just start off with the first one. Number one is following what society says is normal. So I'm sure you are familiar with if you are wanting to drop a couple pounds or a few pounds, or you go to your doctor and your doctor's like, okay, you need to lose some weight, or it's time to get healthy. Let's eat clean, let's eat less, and let's work out more, right? That's usually what's recommended. That's usually what society says is normal. And what we have noticed as practitioners, what I have noticed as a practitioner, is that can cause more stress on the body. So think about, I remember the 1200 calorie recommendation if you want to drop certain pounds. And while that can help some people lose weight, if the body is not receiving enough nourishment, then the body will remain in a constant state of stress, and this can actually cause someone to hold on to weight. At the same time, if we are looking at a hormone perspective, you have a pathway that is producing progesterone, and the mother hormone to this is called pregnenolone. If you are under stress, either the mind or the body, if you're some way stressed, either you're aware of it or unaware of it, the preferred hormone that it will produce based on stress is cortisol. So the pregnenolone will say, once it goes down to the progesterone, it'll say, okay, we don't need to make progesterone right now. We need to make cortisol. There is a stress in our environment, and yes, that can come from not eating enough food and working out more, so over stressing out the body. This was me in my 20s. I was reducing caloric intake. I was overworking out, and as a result, I ended up stressing out my body a lot and having hypothyroidism, which messed up my thyroid at that time. Some other things, this is all still number one, following what society says is normal, is avoiding nutritionally dense foods, red meat, eggs. This is what our Western culture, Western society says causes high cholesterol. That's just not true. Studies have been shown, research shows, and a lot of people are receiving amazing results. Weight loss, better hormones, more balanced hormones, higher numbers in hormones. What feeds hormones is cholesterol. And so we have to have healthy amounts of cholesterol from healthy foods like red meat and eggs in order to feed those hormonal pathways. So another one, still under this following what society says is normal, is buying into quick fixes and Band-Aid solutions. Oh, you're suffering from this? Get this supplement. Oh, try this 30-day plan. Oh, try this, try that. I'm sure you can relate to that. I know I have in my past. And it's just never getting to the root of the issue, right? We might see some quick results if we see any at all, but it's just not getting to the root of the issue. So the other thing under what society has taught us, and this could even be a whole other category, but I just am putting it under this what society says is normal, is this what we should look like. It's this idea of what a perfect body is. If someone has a perfect body, we automatically buy into the belief that they must be healthy, right? And that isn't true for some people. You can have a really slim physique and be very stressed out. You can be malnourished and dealing with GI issues, have hormonal imbalances, have some neurological mental health issues, right? So we have to just stop saying or stop believing what society is saying is normal. And really, what it comes down to is you have to learn what works for you. You'll hear me say that over and over and over again. Health is not a one size fits all plan. It really is about fine tuning what works for you and learning how to work with your body, because your body is always trying to work for you. So, all of these things that I mentioned, eating less, working out more, avoiding these nutritionally dense foods like red meats and eggs, even some dairy, so that, I'm not going to go into that right now, but that was what I did for years and years and years. I was avoiding a lot of carbohydrates. I was avoiding dairy also. And I was just sticking to some select few food groups, and that made me deficient in a lot of nutrients that my body needs, a lot of minerals. Our bodies, you have vitamins and minerals. Our bodies function off of, our metabolic health functions off of these minerals. And if we're deficient in certain minerals, this is going to cause more of a stress burden on our body. And as a result, over time, you're going to have more symptoms, disease can form. And so really it's about, like I said, fine tuning and finding what works for you. And always, just seeing what's the best natural way that we can do this. Because that's what our body understands. It's like when we think of food, our body understands real food as information. It doesn't really understand when you're having processed food and there's tons of chemicals in it. It doesn't know how to break that down. And so that leads me to number 2, which is detoxification. We have to detox nowadays. Our bodies are naturally detoxing all of the time, 24/7. However, we are exposed to so many more environmental toxins. We are exposed to heavy metals and chemicals. So going back to the food example, if we're eating a lot of processed foods and our body doesn't understand how to break down these chemicals, our detoxification organs have to break those down. And it's just making it harder on our liver. And it's overall causing more stress on the body. More things for the body to figure out how to get rid of, right? And so just think about it. Think about, the average woman, I don't know the quote off the top of my head, but it's a lot of chemicals go into our, like at the beginning of the day when we're doing skincare and makeup, and my makeup is all very clean. I choose clean makeup, same with skincare. And I continue to see where can I fine tune that, because I'm a big believer in the less toxic chemicals that I'm putting on my skin, my clothes. I've even started to change some of that stuff out. And it can be overwhelming, right? When you start to find out, wow, a lot of these things are disrupting my hormones. They're causing endocrine disruptors in my body. It's causing my liver to have to detox more, liver and kidneys. And it really, a good place to start with this one is to look at what is the skincare you're using, makeup, household cleaners, foods. How can you switch to more natural cleaners, makeup, foods, things like that. And just start there gradually. Like what I tell my clients is, when you need more deodorant, choose a cleaner version. If you smell from using a cleaner deodorant, it's because you need a detox. Your body's going to take time to adjust to it. It will, but you're detoxing. So just let the body do its job, let it run its course. And the more that you can do that, the better. I think that there can be also a lot of fear with, I have to do it all. Just do the best you can do right now. Switching out plastics in your kitchen to glassware. Little things at a time are going to start to decrease the stress in your stress bucket. If you look at it like a big bucket, this is another analogy that I love to use. Is all these little things go into our stress bucket. And we want to decrease that amount of stress so that we have a better stress resiliency. That's what it comes down to, you guys. We want our bodies to be able to be more resilient to when things, actual stressful situations happen. We have the resources to defend our bodies so that we can, I don't want to say fight back, but in a way, our immune system can fight off pathogens, things like that. We have the resiliency to get through a hard day, a harder workout, things like that, right? Okay, I feel like I'm going on a little tangent here. That was number 2, is we just need more detoxification support. Number 3 is avoiding stress management. You guys, this is a common one. It's common. So if you feel like, yep, that's me, I've tried things and I just don't see the benefit, or it's not working for me, or whatever the belief is, I see you. And it's so important just to find what works for you, because we need an outlet to reduce our stress. So that would be the first one. The other thing is you're just unaware. A lot of times we're unaware of the things that are causing stress on us, causing us to be stressed out, like on our body, like what I had mentioned with number 1, like, oh, I didn't realize I wasn't eating enough protein or enough calories to begin with. I was unaware of that. So once you start to gain the knowledge and you become aware of how you can support your body and nourish your body more, and how you can start to support stress in a way that actually feels good for your body, that's going to help your hormones tremendously. This is, so going back, and I'm going to actually bring the detoxification back for just a second, but one of the tests that I run is a hormone test, and it looks at the metabolites of the urine. And so it's a very thorough test. It gives you a snapshot of what's going on with your estrogen, the pathways. And with detoxification, we want to make sure we're detoxing our estrogen, and we do that through our stool, and we also do that with these pathways, seeing if we're poor methylators or good methylators. A lot of people, like I said, need extra detoxification support. But same thing with avoiding stress management. The reason why we can have lower progesterone levels, and this is already something I mentioned, and I see this on this lab, if we have lower progesterone levels, then this is telling me, like, okay, one of the things that you get to do is practice your stress management. What is stressing you out right now? What are the things in your life that are stressing you out? Is it your job? Is it you don't have good boundaries? Is it you're not taking care of yourself? You're putting everyone else before you, everyone else first before you, and you're just not taking care of yourself. And just getting really honest with yourself. Like, what are the things in this season of life that's causing me stress? Say you're a new mom. Of course, you're going to be stressed, right? You're figuring out how to have a new human in your world. You're feeding a human if you're breastfeeding or not. You're still feeding the baby, but hopefully you are choosing a natural way to feed your baby. And that can be stressful. And that's going to, the body automatically knows we're not going to produce a lot of progesterone right now because we need, one, we don't need to get pregnant again, right? We need to be feeding this baby. And so I don't know why that analogy came to me right now, but the point is that I see a lot of these numbers in cortisol on testing too. I see a lot of these numbers either higher or lower, and it's, a lot of the answer is we need to support your stress and the detoxification pathways for sure. So that was number 3. Number 4 would be women are too much, and this is specifically, I'm just talking to women right now, too much in their masculine energy. Now, let me first clarify that we all have masculine and feminine energy. This has nothing to do with gender. It has to do with our energetics of the masculine is the doing and the feminine is the being. Okay? And so think about this. A woman who is too much in their masculine is trying to control every little thing. This can play out with your relationships, with your children, with food, with your body, with your work. Just start to notice, like, wow, am I too much in my masculine? Am I trying to control every little thing? This is coming from a root of fear. It's in a very fear-based energy. And when we can get to the root of those beliefs that are causing that fear, we can start to dissolve those beliefs and start to rewire the mind to see things in a different way. And that's going to result in you being in a different way, meaning being different in your relationship. Maybe you're a little softer. Maybe you trust your man a little more. That's what men want. It's very sexy to a man when a woman can just receive his love and be there. And I'm not saying that you need to stop everything, right? But the being is what's changed. The energy you're being in when you are doing the things. So, like, let's look at a work situation. If you're trying to control everything, if you're in a lack mindset, if you're in a scarcity mindset, if it comes to work, finances, your children, your relationship, food. If I eat this type of food, what is it going to do to my body? I've been there before. I thought certain foods were going to make me fat. I thought certain foods were going to hurt my immune system really bad when I first got my food sensitivity test 10 years ago. I think it was 2013, so 11 years ago. I had all these food sensitivities to everything I was eating. It's not really about the food. It's about the gut health and your immune system. My immune system was trying to defend itself. And so if you can have a better, so bringing this full circle, if you can have a better relationship with food, if you can have a better relationship with work and not trying to prove yourself, overwork, perfectionism, like these tendencies can be very much too much in our masculine, then we soften up a little bit. And we are being in a different way. When we are at work, we are clearer mind. We're doing things to where we're not causing burnout. This can be one of the best things for our hormones, ladies, is how we are being. How we are being, if you think about, I just got done with a full day of work and now I have to go home and cook dinner and I have to do this and I have to do that. Like stress. Pressure. Instead, if you can just start to be a little different when you're at your job, when you come home, it's like, okay, now you're in wife mode, mom mode. You get to cook this amazing meal for your family. Cooking that meal is going to be a lot easier versus telling yourself, I don't want to do this. I'm tired. It's going to feel very resistant. Then you're going to start building up resentment, right? Has anyone been there? So how do we change that? You're probably like, okay, yeah, I get it. I'm probably too much in my masculine, Megan. I get it. So how do we change that? It comes down to having the awareness that you're in it, number one. Number two is you have to get to the root of the beliefs of why you feel like you have to be like that. That's it. And then when you have the awareness of that, you change that. And you try different things out. And it comes down to trust. It comes down to trust if we want to really get into it. But I'm going deep. I'm going off the deep end here right now. I can do that. But it comes down to really trusting your body with these foods, trusting your relationship. When you are trying to control everything, trusting your man can do it too. This is a big one for like when you have a baby. Let me change the diaper. Let me do this. Let me do that. Let me just do everything because I do it right. Let you change the diaper. Let him do it his way. He'll figure it out. Right? So, okay. I feel like I hit the nail on the head with that one over and over and over again. So, yeah, that's number 4. Does that resonate? Send me a message if it does. If it doesn't, great. Maybe you're too much in your feminine, which what that can mean is you're just letting everything flow. Maybe you need some boundaries. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? So the masculine, that the analogy I like to use here is, think about like a glass, and it's filled with water. The glass is the masculine, and the water that's in it is the feminine. So it just sits in there, and it's the way that you're being in the glass. That kind of sounds weird, but anyways, I'm gonna move on. Okay, so number 5 is reaching this idea of perfection, or you're on to the next thing. It's like, okay, done with that, on to the next thing, where you don't stop to smell the roses. You don't stop to take in like how good this really is, and that is a stress response. Same thing with being in your masculine, that's a stress response. It's all stress response, guys. A lot of this comes down to nervous system regulation, calming the nervous system down, letting yourself really reap the benefits of what you're doing, whether that's something with your job, whether that is, you are on a fancy date with your spouse and you're just really taking in the moment. That can be really, really helpful and nourishing to our nervous systems. But really look at this, with this one, a lot of it is like for those high achieving women who are just on to the next thing, and for men too. It's like you're on to the next thing and you're not giving yourself the recognition and acknowledgement of all that you learned through the process of what you have just done. Taking the time to reflect, look to see what you learned, that can be the most transformational time for you. Wow, I accomplished this. This is a goal and I accomplished it. What really worked? What didn't work? And so if you're always moving on to the next thing, it's like you're running on the high of this stress response. And our nervous systems are meant to oscillate between expansion and contraction. And so, this can be something that can stress our bodies out, which can imbalance our hormones and cause us to overwork and be in an overachieving mode and burnout. And I get it. So the next one, number 6, is relying on strategies that are just causing more stress on the mind and the body. And so these are your extreme elimination diets, like removing all of these things, just like the example I gave with the food sensitivity test. If you're removing all of these things, that can be good for a shorter period of time, but if you stay on it for long periods of time, you're going to be missing out on a lot of minerals and nutrients that the body needs. High intensity workouts. So it's really encouraged to do high intensity workouts. Number 1, if you have healthy adrenals, which is a healthy stress response. A lot of people are chronically stressed, and so they need to skip out on some of the high intensity workouts now and choose other options. But also, if you learn how to sync your exercises to the different phases of your cycle, like someone should never be doing a high intensity workout the day before they start their period. No, ma'am. Don't even think about it, because it puts more of a stress burden on your body. You're going to end up bloating more. Just not good. So these are a couple of different examples of strategies that are recommended by other practitioners, by Western medicine doctors, functional medicine doctors, you name it. And really, they can be causing an imbalance with the hormones if they're not used in the right way, is where I'm trying to get at here. Same thing with fasted workouts. Fasting altogether can be really helpful for some people. For other people, it can cause more stress on the body, depending on adrenals, there's a blood panel that we run to see if you're even a good candidate to fast. So a lot of those things, being on the strict diets, like I had already mentioned, and then something that I used to do all the time in my 20s, Monday through Friday, I would be healthy girl. Weekends, I would binge. alcohol. I would binge on alcohol, and I would just eat whatever I wanted to eat. That is so stressful on the organs, on your liver, on your detox organs, so stressful. And so relying on, like, okay, I'm doing it. I'm going to do the 80-20 rule, but when I'm in my 20, I'm going all out. And I'm a big believer that, there's different phases. If you are trying to get healthy, like say you're just starting out a journey and you are trying to get healthy, you might, for a short period of time, have to be a little more restricted with some things, but then it's finding your balance. It's finding out what works for you. And when you really, this comes down to loving and appreciate your body, you will get out of the patterns and the behaviors like binging on the weekends. If you're still doing that, I question if there is that lack of awareness of, or maybe you are aware that you just don't really like your body, that you are numb from your body, that you are distracting and just not connected to it. And so once you start to connect to your body and do more of the holistic mind-body connection that I recommend, that I do with my clients, all of those behaviors and patterns seem to just disappear. They really do. Okay, let's get going, because I did not think this video was going to be this long. Number 7, I'm talking too much. Number 7, relying on prescription meds for anxiety, ADHD, depression, birth control, sleep issues, all of that. That can cause an imbalance in your hormones. Enough said, I think. So what I would say is, and I want to preface this too, number 1, that can cause some stress on your body. Sometimes there is a need for prescription medications, I will say that. And also, this is no medical advice. Always talk to your doctor, talk to your practitioner. If you're taking those medications and you're not changing your lifestyle and just thinking that those are going to help you heal, it's going to cause more stress in your hormones. That's the main point that I want you to really get from that. You're taking these for for a little while, you're changing your lifestyle habits, you're searching for the root cause, and you're getting to it. You're uncovering things, you're learning how to take better care of yourself. That's where we want you to be at. We want you to continue to not need those and choose more, changing the lifestyle, stress, coming back to that. Okay, number 8 is lacking a spiritual connection. You guys, I think this is so foundational. So many women are disconnected from their body and from the spirit within. I believe in God, and there's different beliefs out there, but what I believe in is God, and I think that if you have a spiritual connection with God, that there's more trust for your body, and it just helps everything. It helps improve everything, really. So the last one, number 9, is making it work when you know your soul is craving more. So whether this is in a job that you know that you have outgrown, that was me at one time. I was like, you know what, this is what I'm meant to be doing. I'm meant to be teaching and coaching in the health field. I love it. It's what I'm obsessed with. And before that, I was teaching and coaching middle school science students and then teachers. I coached teachers. And so I had to go through that in order to learn skills, and it led me to where I am today. But same thing with making it work if you're in a relationship and you know that this just isn't a good fit. We've outgrown each other, right? That can cause a lot of stress on the mind and the body, and it can cause you to be hormonally imbalanced. And same thing, going back to the spiritual connection, not having that lack of trust when you go through hard times. And for me, my spiritual connection really strengthened when I went through some challenging times. That's for another YouTube episode, but having that spiritual connection gives you that trust. It gives you a sense of, faith, and that is overall going to help your stress response. So that's what I'm getting at with both of these, you guys. So yeah, if you feel like coming back to number 9, sorry, I'm kind of bouncing around everywhere. But if you are going back to 9, trying to make things work when you know that, and if you know in your soul, if something is just not a fit anymore, and I know it can be scary to change things, it can, and that can cause stress on your body and your mind for sure. But if you're really just making something work when you know it isn't, that can cause a lot of unnecessary stress. Okay, guys, so that's your 9. Let me summarize these again for you. Number 1, following what society says is normal. Number 2, detoxification. We need more of it. Number 3, avoiding stress management, or you're unaware of what's causing your stress. Number 4, too much in your masculine energy. Number 5, reaching this idea of perfection, or on to the next achievement way too fast. Number 6 is relying on strategies that are causing more stress in the mind and the body, like this high intensity workouts or extreme diets. Number 7, relying on prescription medications without any lifestyle changes. We're looking for the root cause of the anxiety, of the depression, of the ADHD. Number 8 is lacking that spiritual connection. And number 9 is making it work when you know your soul is craving more. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful. Please leave a comment below which one 1 through 9 really landed with you. I would love to hear your feedback, and I will see you guys on the next video.